Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It's April the 1st, and no, I will not be doing any April Fool's jokes because, you know, I'm not a wacky music jock anymore. I don't do that stuff anymore. So we're going to get to all of the stuff that's in the news today, including Birthright citizens. You got a debate on that going on, and going to talk to Doug Burns about that. We've got all sorts of news about what's happening in Iran. It looks like the finish line is right there, getting ready to run over the finish line. We've completely annihilated one of the most powerful militaries in the world. We lost fewer people than we usually lose during training exercises during the year. Wiped them completely. Wiped the floor with them, for God's sake. We've got news on Donald Trump getting rid of mail-in voting for people who, try to, actually successfully steal elections. We got that coming up, but I think we're going to start off with yesterday, which was Trans Day of Visibility.
Happy Trans Day of Visibility to the...
I had no idea that yesterday was a Trans Day of Visibility because Joe Biden made Easter 2024 into that.
Happy Trans Day of Visibility to the trans community in Seattle and across the country.
For too many trans people, we still see discrimination and policies that threaten their safety and dignity.
No, not really.
And across the country, we are seeing growing attacks on transgender.
That is not even happening.
Under people's rights.
You'd be reading about it, and then, well, you don't read newspapers anymore.
It's their safety and dignity.
And I will always stand with you.
Here's a trans woman who was born with man parts yesterday, saying that, this must be an Easter miracle or something, saying that he, she, they, them actually have their menstrual cycle.
Fun fact, trans women also get periods.
Really?
Yes.
You get a period?
Yes. I get monthly cycles.
You get monthly cycles?
Yep.
So the lining of your uterine wall is falling apart.
Yeah.
I get draining.
That's
your uterine wall.
See, this is the fun part.
Well, I've been doing this wrong.
Due to not having a uterus, the weird part is I still get the cramps, but I just don't get the.
Are you sure it's just not from Lupron messing with your body?
Oh, what?
Are you say Groupon?
Sure it's just not the Lupron messing with your body?
Oh, no, it's an actual.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I got the full on emotional cycles and everything.
Yeah,
I have no doubt you have the emotional cycle.
You have a period though.
I do, yes.
But you don't have any blood leaving you. There's no thinning of the uterine lining, which is what a period is. And some of the results of a period are cramping.
Yes.
So you have similar symptoms to a period, but you don't have a period at all. You have no period because you're a man.
Yeah. That's America in 2026, by the way. I wanted you to know. And then of all things, that I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up as a satirist by nature, Kristi Noem's husband. Wow, what the what? I missed Gutfeld last night. I'm sure that's what he opened with. Oh my God. What would you do, ladies, if you discovered that your husband was online engaging in a niche fetish known as bimbofication, in which adherents pump up their breasts to extreme proportions in pursuit of a Barbie doll-like appearance? If your husband did that, can you even imagine maybe why she was messing around with Corey Lewandowski? I have a feeling why, because her husband liked to dress up like a Barbie doll, and I don't understand this. He sent tens of thousands of dollars to various women he chatted with and sent selfies wearing pink hot pants and flesh-toned crop tops stuffed with balloons. Inflated to resemble cartoonist-sized breasts, even featuring the outlines of protruding nipples. His face was clearly seen in several of these salacious images. Donald Trump, when he was asked about it, said, "Is that confirmed?" Well, I feel badly for the family if that is the case. So there you go. I guess it was probably a good idea that she's no longer the DHS secretary, because her family sounds kind of messed up a little bit there. Yeah. Jim Gossett put this together for us, by the way.
Kristi Noem's husband likes to dress up like a girl.
I would be an ugly woman. Big hands, big feet.
When she's at work, he will give cross-dressing a whirl.
Do some women like this? I have no idea.
Silk hose and panties. Brian Noem wears them with pride.
Maybe I need to change my Match.com profile. I don't know.
It is a secret for years that they've tried to hide.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to move past this in your marriage. I don't know.
He'll dress up like a woman. He's tired of being a man.
Wife's like, where's my bra? Kids are like, where are my balloons?
Brian's love of women's clothes is something we don't understand. Her hubby's cross-dressing is starting to get out of hand.
Yeah.
Dressed like a woman, but Brian's still a man.
That is just, boy, that might be, they were early in the year. This could be one of the strangest stories of the entire year. My gosh. Whoa, what do you do as a wife? I know a lot of women that put up a lot of stuff. I never did anything like that when I was married. I just was drunk and depressed a good deal of the time and got better. Never dressed up like a woman with balloons in my brassiere or whatever. Hey, by the way, just some news. We're going to get into the Iran war and all this. It's in the war, military conflict, butt kicking. I'm going to call it a butt kicking because Donald Trump said it's already basically over. The NASA's Artemis II moon mission is starting today. This is pretty exciting, actually. So they're going to make history, taking astronauts around the moon for the first time in 50 years. The 4-person crew is going to launch today for a 10-day journey, by the way. This is pretty cool. Trip's going to pave the way for future Artemis missions that could eventually see astronauts set foot on the moon and building a permanent lunar base, and also to see the side of the moon that Pink Floyd talked about. Artemis 2 will take 4 astronauts on the 685,000-mile journey. By the way, it's 285,000 miles to the moon, in case you didn't know. I'm a science geek. So there you go. Today is the day. The window between 6:24 p.m. and 8:24 p.m. tonight going to be on, I think, ABC News of other places. Day 1 will launch through day 4, being outbound transit toward the moon. Day 5 will be a lunar flyby. The spacecraft will fly within approximately 4,700 miles of the dark side of the moon. There are 4 people on the craft: Victor Glover, Christina Hammock Koch, Reed Wiseman of NASA, and Jeremy Hansen of the Canadian Space Agency. Koch will be the first woman, and Glover will be the first person of color to travel to the moon. That's important, I guess. Glover is the pilot with responsibility for operating the spacecraft. Koch and Hansen are mission specialists, and the other person is actually a realtor sent there by Donald Trump to see what we can get for it, I think is what we're doing there. So there you go. That's happening today, which is kind of historic. I want to mention that it's kind of historic because we haven't been to the moon since we played golf on the moon. We've actually played golf on the moon, but no other country in the world has been to the moon yet. But we did it several times and even played golf on the moon. Here is the president yesterday on something he has already gotten from the defeated Iranian military.
To make you want to pursue a ceasefire. A few days ago, you said you wanted to continue bombing Iran. Now you want to pursue peace talks. Was there something that happened?
The fact that they're talking to us and they're talking sense. And remembered also...
There's only one guy there who can even talk to him. He owns a falafel stand. He was never in the government before.
They cannot...
They've killed everybody else.
...have a nuclear weapon. Just, I said yesterday, they said, what are the top 10? I said, well, number 1, 2, and 3 is they can't have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And we're talking about that.
Really?
I don't want to say in advance, but... They've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that.
Whoa, that's amazing. And then the stock market is up, by the way, in case you didn't know, because a lot of people are beginning to believe what Donald Trump said is that this is going to end in 4 to 6 weeks. And you know why he said that? Because he asked his generals and the military in general said, hey, man, if we decide to do this, how long do you suppose it'll take? And he said, Mr. President, this is going to take 4 to 6 weeks if you let us do what we do. And he did. And here's the president basically saying that we're going to be there in time.
I would say that within 2 weeks, maybe. Wow. 2 weeks, maybe 3. Wow. We're hitting them very hard. Last night we knocked out tremendous amounts of missile-making facilities. As you probably read or wrote. We knocked out. Excuse me.
Pardon me for interrupting. The U.S. will be gone or done with the war in 2
I think we're 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, we've never seen a mission that has been so successful from the get-go, attacked by the Democrat Party and the leftist media, even lying about the mission, by the way. Publications like the New York Times have lied about the mission, have lied about the success because they recognize that this is really, really historic. And for the first time in 47 years, the world is not going to have to worry about Iran and its proxies committing acts of terror all over the place. And that's why it's so stinking historic. Here's the President of the United States talking about that. that about how they're kicking butt, but the American media, like the New York Times, are willing to say that's not happening.
It's like, oh, they're putting up a good fight. They're not putting up a fight. They're not even shooting at us, okay? Yeah. They are roaming the skies over Tehran. They're not even being shot at.
No.
Because their equipment's been totally decimated. They have nothing to shoot. They have no Navy, they have no anything. And just think about this.
They're literally just standing there with their fingers in the air going, pew, pew, pew. That's their air defense system right now.
They have no Navy. They have no military. Mm-mm. They have no nothing.
No.
They're losing.
Yep.
They admit they're losing.
Yep.
They're begging to make a deal.
They got an Ayatollah made out of cardboard.
And if you read the fake New York Times, a corrupt newspaper, where I'm suing them and I think I should do very well, but you would almost think, who's winning?
Yeah, the New York Times also, years and years and years ago, did a glowing report on Joseph Stalin when he was in charge of the Soviet Union, talking about how well-fed the citizens were being fed and whatnot. They've done all sorts of glowing things. The Time magazine made Hitler the Man of the Year one year. So you know where they are, essentially. All right, we've got lots more on this coming up. Pete Hegseth on the other side with an update, been talking to some of the troops in the field. Marco Rubio talking about this, and we opened our embassy in Venezuela. Literally a couple months after we took out Maduro. That's all coming up. This is the Rob Carson Show. This fall, you're invited to experience Washington, D.C. in a truly unforgettable way with me, Rob Carson, and other Newsmax listeners. Imagine strolling through our nation's capital as America celebrates 250 years and seeing history come alive with an expert guide. Together, we'll tour the White House Visitor Center, step into the halls of democracy with a guided tour of the U.S. Capitol building, visit Arlington National Cemetery and the changing of the guard, stand in awe before the towering figure of President Abraham Lincoln, and take in the beauty of D.C.'s legendary memorials with a special nighttime illumination tour. Our adventure includes premium hotel accommodations for 4 nights in the heart of D.C., in addition to 6 meals, ground transportation, guides, and gratuities. Space is limited, so don't wait. Visit travelwithrob.net to book your D.C. getaway today, or give our friends at Cruise and Tour a call at 800-383-3131. That's 800-383-3131, or travelwithrob.net.
Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
I've written columns on this. The president does have a viable and credible argument that the 14th Amendment was never meant to include people who are here unlawfully. The mere
Greg Jarrett talking about the birthright citizen case in front of the Supreme Court today.
Act of setting foot on American soil does not confer birthright citizenship to their children.
You know why? Because the person who comes here illegally doesn't have allegiance to the United States of America, you see.
You go back and look at the debate in 1866 over the Fourth Amendment. The sponsors wrote in a very important clause that says, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. What does that mean? It's a condition of allegiance or fealty. That's especially important for the millions of illegal migrants who are here in the United States, living in the shadows, not paying taxes, not obtaining Social Security numbers, not even filing for taxes. Yep. They live in the shadows, and their allegiance to the United States is unknown, largely because their whereabouts are unknown.
Yeah, but they can still vote, according to Democrats, by the way. I got some audio from Stephen Miller that'll shock you in a little while. Justice Thomas was talking to Solicitor General Sauer today. The citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment written to overrule Dred Scott and secure citizenship for freed slaves who had domicile here and owed no allegiance to a foreign power. This gets a little kind of heady, okay? So if you're Ketanji Brown Jackson, you'll kind of lean your head either way like a beagle. Treat, she would understand that. Squirrel, she'd understand that. But anything else, gone. Just completely gone. But anyway, subject to the jurisdiction thereof means full allegiance, not mere presence or subjection to our laws. The text uses reside, which at the time meant domicile. The framers weren't handing automatic citizenship to everyone born on U.S. soil regardless of allegiance, meaning that you're here, you don't have, if you come here illegally, you do not have allegiance to the United States of America. And with Dred Scott, freed slaves had no allegiance to a foreign power, hence they could stay. Consequently, the children of illegals should not be able to be American citizens. It'll all make sense eventually. That's the argument that the right people are making, the people who aren't Ketanji Brown Jackson. So we'll talk a little while to Doug Burns about that, because Doug Burns knows what the heck he's talking about. Here is Pete Hegseth. He's our Secretary of War, baby. Yeah, Secretary of War. Talking about what's going on with the Iranian military.
They will go underground, but we will find them. We recently destroyed another one of their command bunkers. Leaders forced to flee. No water, no power, no oxygen, no command and control. Their faith in their caves diminishing. Our strikes are damaging the morale of the Iranian military, leading to widespread desertions, key personnel shortages, and causing frustrations amongst senior leaders.
You know where you're not seeing that? Where you're seeing absolute confidence and resolve and patriotism in our military. And the Democrat Party is not giving them any credit whatsoever. In fact, they're even saying things like on day one, Chris Murphy said that it was a disaster. Since then, they've said that we are losing. That's absurd on the face of it. That's absurd on the face of it, obviously. And then now saying that we're in a quagmire 4 weeks in to a military campaign that Donald Trump said would take 4 to 6 weeks. Hegseth, without meeting with a lot of the airmen, who by the way have either set of genitalia. They're men and women.
The 3 Air Force captains shot down by Kuwaiti-friendly fire early in the fight weeks ago. They never left the theater. All dropped bombs over Tehran last night. I witnessed lethality. I met a junior airman as the sun was going down and a chill was setting on the tarmac.
Kind of cool.
Who, when asked what they needed, she simply looked up at me with a sly smile on her face and said, "More bombs, sir, and bigger bombs. We will happily oblige her."
You need anything? Yeah, you know what? We could use some more bombs. Maybe some even bigger ones. That'd be kind of cool. I want to meet that girl, man, or the young woman, I should say, the young woman. I think that's fantastic. Here is the Secretary of War talking about the number one goal of our troops, who are doing an unbelievable job, the greatest military campaign, one of the greatest in world history, taking down a massive, massive military machine, destroying their missile capability, their missile manufacturing capability, sinking their Navy. This in 4 weeks.
I asked each young American, what do you need? And nobody said better equipment. Nobody said more comfortable living conditions.
Nope.
Nobody said send me home. Well, of course, eventually we want all those things.
Hell yeah.
They do too.
Yep.
But what those Americans said to me, young and old, officer and NCO, male and female, black and white, was let's finish the mission. Get us even more bombs, bigger bombs, more targets.
That's the opposite of what the Democrat Party is saying. The Democrat Party is saying, don't finish the mission, we're getting killed. Oh my God, we're in a quagmire. So stupid. Here is Pete Hegseth and Bradley Cooper, who is in charge of the whole operation, CENTCOM, about what we're doing now.
Just last night, we had 200 dynamic strikes alone. A dynamic target is one that changes while you're in the air because of improved intelligence. 200 dynamic strikes alone, in addition to the pre-planned targets. If Iran is wise, they will cut a deal. President Trump doesn't bluff, and he does not back down. You can ask Khomeini about that.
Together, we continue to deliver precision strikes against key manufacturing nodes, component storage sites, research facilities deep within Iranian territory.
Yeah, we're wasting them. We are absolutely wasting them. Now, here's the headline of the day. Donald Trump saying, I think we're done with NATO because NATO left us hanging this time. And they are going to regret the day. Here's Pete Hegseth talking about that.
There's been lots of media coverage that suggested a ground invasion is imminent. What other purposes might the soldiers and the Marines who have been deployed over to the Middle East serve in this conflict?
Military 101. Don't tell your enemy what you're willing to do or not do.
I'm not going to.
And don't tell your enemy when you're willing to stop.
Nope.
Especially an enemy that likes to hide in bunkers and try to hoard their missiles and hope you'll wait you out. A lot has been shown to the world about what our allies would be willing to do for the United States of America when we undertake an effort of this scope on behalf of the free world. These are missiles that don't even range the United States of America. They range allies and others, and yet when we ask for additional assistance or simple access basing and overflight, we get questions or roadblocks or hesitations. And the president's pointing out, you don't have much of an alliance if you have countries that are not willing to stand with you when you need them.
Yeah, this is interesting. For a very long time, the European nations and whatnot have depended on us to save their asses, like in World War I and World War II. And now we are discovering that when we asked for a little help, they all said no. And Donald Trump's about to say, you know what? I think we're done with NATO. Marco Rubio says that as well. We're going to talk to the one and only Brigitte Gabriel from Act for America, one of my favorite guests, on the other side of the break. Do not go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed.
No King's Rally Day. Saw it and said, what a bunch of losers. Most of them are unemployed, drug addicts, and also boozers. These protesters are so crazy, not to mention they are very lazy. No King's Rally Day, deadbeats with a criminal history. The fact that they don't have a job is really not much of a mystery. 7 million, there's no way. Crowd size exaggerated. Most of them were elderly and heavily medicated.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince. Winter is over. I'm putting away the layers, the vests, the tweed jackets, getting out the shorts and the light linen shirts. Quince.com is where I refresh my wardrobe and pare down the old, tired, lower quality stuff that I've held on for years. Quince makes high-quality, everyday essentials using premium materials like 100% European linen and their insanely soft, flow-knit activewear fabric. Their men's linen pants and shirts are lightweight, breathable, comfortable, basically the perfect layer for spring. The pants strike the right balance between laid back and refined, so you look put together without trying too hard. The best part is their prices are 50 to 60% less than similar brands. Quince works directly with ethical factories, cuts out the middleman, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup. Everything is designed to last and makes getting dressed easy. Go to quince.com/Newsmax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now in Canada, quince.com/Newsmax. That's quince.com/Newsmax. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax.
Mom Donnie, a socialist. Mom Donnie, a communist. He's a fan of a muss. His win will be New York's loss. He's an extremist, you bet, as New York's gonna get taxed like never before. When Mom Donnie is done, the city will run every grocery store. He'll defund the police and crime will increase as the murder rate begins to soar. Mom Donnie, anti-Jew, he despises Netanyahu. It is really a sin. New Yorkers voted him in. They'll regret it. They helped him win.
I like the Foo Fighters. They're my favorite band. Other than Led Zeppelin, I mean. Kick it! I believe that was the only song that the Foo Fighters have ever done where they had background vocalists other than band members. I could be wrong, but it's a really good song. Anyway, welcome to the show. Please come inside. I am informed that Brigitte Gabriel is next hour. I'm sorry to have teased you in such a fashion, because when people want Brigitte, they want her now. So we're going to talk to her next hour. Doug Burns is tomorrow. So there you go. We got Doug Burns tomorrow to talk about all the birthright citizenship and all that. Here is Donald Trump, the president, talking about birthright citizenship.
This is not about Chinese billionaires or billionaires from other countries who all of a sudden have 75 children or 59 children in one case or 10 children becoming American citizens. This was about slaves. And if you take a look, slaves, we're talking about slaves from the Civil War. And if you take a look at when it was filed, all of this legislation, all of this, everything having to do with birthright citizenship, It was at the end of the Civil War.
Absolutely, 100%. It is. It makes no sense to be able to come to America, drop a baby when you're ready to, go into labor, and then claim citizenship for the baby, and then, of course, make that baby an anchor baby so you and your family can come here without allegiance to the United States of America. It doesn't work that way. Because if you don't have allegiance to the country, you're just coming here to have a baby to get that baby citizenship. Sorry, it don't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. Here is John Eastman talking with I'm sure he was over on. I saw him on Getter talking about birthright. So with the
14th Amendment,
Steve Bannon
says you got to be born here. That's requirement one. But you got to be subject to the jurisdiction here as well and reside in a state. That means temporary visitors, and certainly those who are here illegally, are not covered by the automatic citizenship of the Citizenship Clause. And that was the way we understood it for about a century. And it kind of gradually, beginning in the 1950s or 60s, we moved away from that position. But President Trump's executive order restores the original meaning of the Citizenship Clause. If you're here illegally, then you're not subject to the complete jurisdiction. You're not part of our political community.
Nope.
If you're here just temporarily, you're here by our grace. You have not joined our political community. You're a visitor. And that's what the original meaning meant, and that's what the original court decisions were. That's what the original leading treatise writers of the 1870s said. It's what the secretaries of state said in the 1880s. So it's only more recently that we've adopted this more radical view that any.
Yeah, and they bastardize it like they have everything else. The left has bastardized it, cheapened citizenship for you and I being born here, or people who have come here lawfully, gone through the process, and pledged allegiance to the United States of America as founded. As founded, not as you want it to be, not as you wish it were, as you wish Sharia law, for instance, or communism. No, that crap don't fly, because you see, we have a Constitution of the United States of America that has given us the greatest engine of individual and economic freedom in the history of mankind. And if you don't like it, then go live in a hellhole where they've failed throughout history. Go live somewhere else. We aren't changing. Not going to happen. There are a whole lot of people who are willing to fight on that one. This is Grace Pasteur. She is a counsel for the White House. I think she's brilliant, actually, talking about the White House counsel about birthright citizenship.
The left would have you believe that this issue's already been settled, that the president's arguments are radical, but that's just not true.
No, your arguments are.
The Supreme Court has never resolved this issue in our nation's entire history. And President Trump is absolutely right. The Citizenship Clause was passed in order to give citizenship to the children of freed slaves, not illegal immigrants.
I'm thinking they deserve the citizenship.
So the arguments of critics are just wrong. The Constitution grants citizenship to those, 1, born in the U.S., and 2, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And what does that mean? Well, tomorrow, we're going to be arguing in front of the Supreme Court that history shows that it means that an individual owes their primary allegiance to the United States and not a foreign power. I think the president...
So when you come here and you wave your Venezuelan flag and you chant, death to America or whatever the hell, wherever you're from, that's not allegiance to our country. And by the way, you should be deported as well.
Made it clear what he believes his constitutional role is in interpreting the Constitution. And also, he's, in my mind, would appear because he genuinely believes that the Supreme Court needs to look at the original historical baseline meaning of the Citizenship Clause. There's a lot of media around this issue, there's a lot of tradition, and there's a lot of thought that this issue has already been resolved, as you mentioned, for the last 150 years.
But it has not. It is absolutely not been resolved. So hopefully it will be. Because again, citizenship means something. I had alluded to Stephen Miller talking about the Democrat Party and what they've done to the American people, and realize when they give so much money to illegals over you and me, when Joe Biden was the president, you and I suffered a great deal. We saw the price of cars double. We saw the price of homes double. We saw groceries go through the ceiling. We saw gas that was more expensive than it is right now. And yeah, it's expensive, but you see, we're kind of in the middle of beating back a monstrous regime that has spread terror around the world for 47 years, and we're beating into the pits of hell. so we don't have to worry about them anymore. And already yesterday, there are all sorts of tankers moving through the Straits of Hormuz, the stock market breathing a sigh of relief, gas prices will be heading back down again, and then, of course, a lot of freedom for the people of Persia. But here is Stephen Miller talking about what the Democrats have done with your money to pay off those who come here illegally.
What we found since President Trump came into office is that the Democrats have set up a system to funnel hundreds of billions and ultimately trillions of dollars to migrants that are in our country, oftentimes from places like Somalia.
Yeah.
So as an example,
no doubt,
ICE recently asked a group of illegal immigrants that were in detention whether or not they were receiving Medicaid. Half of them raised their hands and volunteered that they were on Medicaid.
Yeah.
Just volunteered that. Yeah. These aren't the ones who are hiding it, right? They also asked illegal aliens how they paid their medical bills, and they said that if they don't have Medicaid, they go to hospitals, they get free care there, and they bill it to the taxpayer.
You bet.
So they aren't paying for any of their own health care in this country. This is one example.
Or daycare, or lodging, or food.
And we've seen this over and over and over again. So under President
Trump... You ever had to apply for government assistance? Have you ever done that? I had to get SNAP benefits about 6-7 years ago. And you know what? I had to present ID. I had to go through basically a rectal exam. You know, and then, of course, unemployment. What a joke that is. Because I work in radio. I've been on unemployment a few times. You can't cheat on that. You can't cheat on that. And you get a pittance. When I was out of work, I didn't get free hotel room. I didn't get free child care. I didn't get free health care. I had to go on, what was it, Cobra. You know what Cobra, you know why they named Cobra? Because it's a deadly serpent. Cobra is terrible. It is the worst thing in the world to have to go on Cobra, for God's sake. But I never got anything handed to me. But the Democrat Party, they know that people who come from third world locations have no allegiance, only to the ones who give them the stuff.
Leadership, and then, of course, with JD and the head of the FTC, Andrew Ferguson, we are going to see the first ever effort in American history to reclaim the ultimately trillions of dollars that were stolen from taxpayers.
Yeah, we will see. I want to see people also go to jail. I think that would be good, wouldn't you? Also, yesterday, Donald Trump signed that executive order to basically make secure mail-in voting, because that's been bastardized too, just like birthright citizenship. The details on the other side of the break. Let's take that break now. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey, listen.
To the American people, my promise to you is this, that I will work tirelessly day after day to ensure that if someone out there dares to steal your taxpayer dollars, that there might just be a federal prosecutor on the end of that bad decision, that no longer will we be uninterested in low levels of fraud. We will be interested in all of it. And if someone out there right now is deciding and determining whether they will file a false application to try to steal your taxpayer dollars, we're going to care about it.
Okay, that is Colin McDonald being sworn in as kind of the, the Assistant Attorney General for National Fraud Enforcement. Okay, that's great, but you've got a couple $1 trillion to kind of consider, and certainly at least $18 billion in Minnesota, and now we're saying probably closer to $500 billion in the state of California. And there's going to be a point where we have to start seeing people put in jail for this. Because you and I, we have to work for every damn thing we have. And I am so outraged by all of this. Opening up a Somali daycare and being so brazen to come into the United States of America, open up a daycare with no goal at all of having children enrolled, or opening an autism charity and enrolling people, paying people to say their children have autism so you can rake in millions and millions of dollars. Every one of those people, I don't care what your nationality is, all of the people who opened the hospices in L.A., where like 30% of the hospices in America in L.A. County, that's where they are. And they're run by the Armenian Mafia. Every one of those people need to be stripped of their citizenship. If they're not citizenship, then they should just be deported to never be able to return to the United States of America. To those who are citizens who did this, who came here from another country, they should be stripped of their citizenship and sent to their country of origin. This, of course, includes Ilhan Omar. Here is Steve Hilton. He is running for governor of the state of California. This will give you an idea of the scope of fraud. Now, we have a budget annually, $6.5 trillion, okay? California has at least $500 billion in fraud, money stolen from you and me.
To be prudent, careful with public money. They don't take it seriously at all. They don't care about your money. They just steal it and waste it. And now we can tell you exactly how much. Here is the number. This is the total. $425 billion. That's billion with a B. When you see these reports, as we've been putting out,
$425 billion in the state of California alone. Maybe that's why Gavin Newsom is being really weird. Did you see him yesterday, Gavin Newsom? I mean, you ever seen those, like, sci-fi movies or whatever, when the robot's brain gets overtaken, Like it happens when in Star Trek, the robot is presented with reason or something, and the robot starts to melt down, or the fembots in Austin Powers. I think he's more similar to fembots in Austin Powers because he's empty-headed. But listen to him melt down yesterday. It makes you kind of wonder if maybe it's all catching up to him.
I'm also weird. Sharon, forgive me. This is embarrassing. You can turn all that off.
He's looking at the camera. You can turn all that out. He's really saying, no, actually leave it on because I'm looking for sympathy. I'm going to say that I'm dyslexic, and I'm going to say that I have ADHD. And that will usurp the fact that I'm just a white male who's kind of, pretty wealthy right now and never has had really to do much in his life. His idea of suffering was eating Kraft macaroni and cheese as a child. Wow, that's rough. But listen.
Just because all the noise, that we just need to turn off. And listen to this.
This is just performative nonsense.
This is it, man. This is it. You want to fix all this stuff? This is it. Listen to these guys. We're all just sitting there yelling and screaming at each other. Everybody's getting each other's throats.
What are you talking about?
Trying to tear everybody down. And, how are we going to get out of this?
Well, you stole $500 billion in the last 5 years, jerk.
This is it. You heard these guys. Programs like this, community leaders, like this, and I just, it's like, why are we so stupid? Why can't we just get this? It's so obvious.
What did he say anything there? And then afterwards, he puked up some gobbledygook. This is from somebody who obviously has spent a good deal of his life in therapy. All right? And I just want you to hear, because listen, if you've ever been in therapy, and I have, and I always thought it was a joke, actually. Sorry if you're a therapist. But anyway, especially marriage counseling, I'll just say that's really a joke. Oh, my God. But listen to this.
We want to say, well, I tried this, it didn't work. And in that failure, I became much stronger, and now I'm much wiser. And that's why the 10-point plan for America's renewal. I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
I wanted to go deeper, and I wanted to really challenge the assumptions that I was making about myself in those experiences and go a step further to challenge them again.
That is pure psychobabble. I mean, 100% unadulterated gobbledygook and psychobabble. Man, that is just unbelievable. Here's a little bit more. Him just talking about himself, clearly against somebody who's been doing a lot of therapy.
I talk about that in the book, how I was trying to challenge perceptions about me, and how
he's trying to challenge perceptions about me. Have you ever done that? Do any of you have time to do that? You're sitting in you got your butt in a tractor seat all day, and you ever challenge perceptions about yourself? Or did you just kind of realize, who cares?
Played into that. I played to type when you're dressed up and, your suit and tie. And I was doing that in high school, and you're putting the hair down. You're playing into that, even as you're pushing back against it. And so I also scrutinized that aspect of me. And now, again, I'm just willing to accept those things which I cannot control.
Oh, my God. He wants to be the governor. Or the president. He's never going to be the president. I'm just going to mention that. He's never going to be the president of the United States, and hopefully he'll be a prisoner before that happens, or at least before he runs. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hi, kids. Just psychobabble. Who talks like that? It's word salad. It is word salad. That's round-a-pony. It's worse than that. It's psychobabble. It's nonsensical meanderings. I don't know. He's maybe this works with chicks or something. I think that's what he works with chicks. He's like, I'm trying to get a better understanding of me, because I've never been on the outside looking in. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a desperate man trying to get a woman in bed or something. I don't even know. Or a guy, in his case, not even sure. His wife's crazy too. Come along, ding mush. That's from Grandma. Whatever. New scumbag giving the 50s greaser a bad rap. No, he's even worse than that. He's more like an 80s lawyer from Los Angeles. Kerry Corley. God, I hate his ass. Yeah, I know. He's just awful. He's an awful human being. He's a creep. He's a creep. He's a charlatan. He's a liar. What am I going to talk about here? I got to talk about something here. I know what I'm going to talk about. All right. Pastor Ballroom. I got that out of the air. I'm glad I was able to get that in, because I'm trying to shake it up a little bit, not just talk about all the war and all that, and be able to talk about stuff. So. Desertions. Sorry, I'm just kind of figuring out what I'm going to talk about here. Oh, yeah, we'll do that. Here we go. It's time for me to talk. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Dookie Bear. Kerry Corley. I'm coming to you, by the way, not next weekend, but the weekend after, to Rehoboth. This is not an EV. And it never will be. If I had an EV, it would be a little commuter car, or a golf cart. I would absolutely own an EV although I'm kind of liking the self-driving, the Elon Musk's cars, the self-driving thing. I got a friend who's got a Cybertruck, and I kind of like the Cybertruck, but I wouldn't use it for any heavy lifting. It's just I like the technology. It's just kind of cool. It's just kind of cool. It's going to change the world, by the way. People will be able to. Tiger Woods won't have to worry about driving home anymore. Wouldn't that be something, huh? If Tiger Woods would, that guy, whew. I have been addicted to alcohol. I can't imagine what it's like to be addicted to painkillers. And I understand that's just a much tougher road to hoe. Rush Limbaugh was addicted to them so badly, he went deaf. He was addicted. It kills the little whatever's in your ears, and you lose the ability to hear. That's one of the reasons why he went deaf. It's got to be tough. But, man, if I was a billionaire, I would take a helicopter everywhere I went. It's like I call my pilot, Jeeves. I'm going to take the helicopter down to 7-Eleven, get a Slurpee. I mean, honestly, if you're a billionaire, why the hell not? When the dollar's convertibility into gold ended in 1971, gold was fixed at $35 an ounce. Wow. I could have had a waiting pool full of gold coins rolled around them and everything. Fast forward to today, the U.S. dollar's lost over 85% of its purchasing power. That's why homes are so bloody expensive. You have to spend 30 years paying for them. Gold, on the other hand, has increased in value by 12,000%. Central banks are buying it. Major firms like Vanguard and BlackRock hold significant amounts of gold. That's why I encourage you to consider diversifying your savings with physical gold from Birch Gold. But it starts with education. I want you to listen to this because they're having a special event so you can learn more. Birch Gold just announced their Learn and Earn Precious Metals event. Free online event. Rewards you for learning the basics of investing in precious metals. Sign up to get free silver on your next purchase. Get even larger incentives as you go. The more you learn, the more you can earn. But you got to do it now because the special event ends April 30th, and it's already April 1st. The dollar lost its anchor in 1971. You don't have to lose yours. You know the drill. Text my name, Rob, to the number 989898. Rob to 989898 to join Birch's Learn and Earn Precious Metals event by April 30th. You will thank me. Trust me on this one. Text Rob to 989898. Coming up, Marco Rubio explains flawlessly exactly why Donald Trump decided we needed to take out Iran. There is no debate about it. There is no anything about it. Also, we're rethinking our membership in NATO. Because NATO always wants us to help them out around the world, whether it be Ukraine, we did all the heavy lifting there. But this time, we asked for a little bit of help with the Straits of Hormuz, maybe landing some planes in their air bases, and they said no. So Donald Trump's about to give them the big middle finger. That's coming up. This is the Rob Carson Show.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide. Real news for real people.
it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. This hour we have Brigitte Gabriel, who is awesome. I love Brigitte Gabriel. Whenever she's on Newsmax or wherever, I always stop and listen to what she has to say because she's a remarkable individual who's been through a lot, and we are witnessing history right now with the fall of the Ayatollah in Iran. And we've been so bloody busy that we haven't had a chance to really celebrate the history that we're seeing, not only with Maduro's withdrawal from Venezuela. We're opening up the embassy there again, which is pretty cool. Marco Rubio mentioned that the reopening of the embassy in Caracas took place Monday, less than 3 months after the January operation that removed Venezuelan dictator Nicolás Maduro. That's how they say it on the national news. They just suddenly speak in Spanish. Today we are formally resuming operations at the U.S. Embassy in Caracas, marking a new chapter in our diplomatic presence in Venezuela. So there you go. It's pretty cool. And then also they're selling oil, and the money, the proceeds, is going to help out the Venezuelan people. So that's kind of cool. That's pretty amazing, right? Right? And the drug boats. You hear anything more about the drug boats? Because the drug boats are toast, man. No more drug boats. Oh, my God. Isn't that amazing? Then the southern border is closed. And manufacturing is coming back into America. I got a wonderful report about Mercedes-Benz investing $4 billion in America to build those cars you and I can't afford. So anyway. I don't know if I'd own a Mercedes. I don't know. I mean, they're nice cars. I don't know. I freak out if I pay more than $60 for a pair of shoes. I bought a pair of jeans online yesterday. And, my movers, are you ready for this? When I moved here, I hired these jackweeds to move my stuff out here, and a whole bunch of my stuff got broken. And then all of my jeans disappeared. All of my jeans are gone. I literally, are you ready to cry? I had a 1980 pair of 501 jeans. I'll never fit in them again. 1980 pair of 501 jeans, button fly. Gone. So I had to get online and order jeans. So I'm online and ordering these jeans, and these stretch fabric jeans and all that. They're supposed to be the best jeans ever. And the dang price is $79 for a pair of jeans. So you can imagine how I feel about cars. I'm driving my Bronco Buck, and that's the most expensive car I've ever even owned. And it isn't even that expensive. It's the median. Right now, the median price of a new car now is like $48,000. So that's right where I am. And I'm 4 years into payments. I'm ready to pay that sucker off. I'm going to keep them forever. I might be buried in them, for God's sake. Whatever. Anyway. So, kind of tight on the money. But that said, Mercedes-Benz going to be building cars in America. There you go. This is Marco Rubio. Here's our Secretary of State. He's fantastic, by the way. Talking about why, and there's no doubt about this. There's no doubt about this whatsoever, why we took the opportunity to take down Iran right now.
Many Americans are asking, why did the United States have to attack Iran now? Well, let me explain. Iran wants to have nuclear weapons. Yeah. Of that, there is zero doubt. Yeah. If what they truly wanted, which is what they claim, is nuclear energy, well, they could have nuclear energy like all the other countries in the world have it. And that is you import the fuel and you build reactors above ground.
Easy.
That's not what Iran has done.
Nope.
They build their reactors and their facilities deep in mountains, away from the public glare. And they want to enrich that material. The same equipment that they could use to enrich material for energy, they could use to quickly enrich it to weapons grade.
Yeah, it's a U-235. They have to put it in centrifuges to basically intensify it, to make it kind of concentrated, and then it becomes... I learned about this. I watched a Neil deGrasse Tyson special on it last night. Not a fan of his politics, but I'm kind of a science geek.
So it is clear that they've been offered every opportunity to have
That's what I do in my spare time when I'm sitting at home by myself.
Nuclear program that allows them to have energy, not weapons. And every single time they have turned it down.
Yeah.
But why the attack now? Well, what was Iran trying to do?
What were they doing?
Iran was trying to build a conventional shield, in essence, have so many missiles, have so many drones that no one could attack them. And they were well on their way.
Yeah.
We were on the verge of an Iran that had so many missiles and so many drones that no one could do anything about
impenetrable
their nuclear weapons program in the future. That was an intolerable risk. Under no circumstances can a country run by radical Shia clerics
with a death wish and wanting to kill everybody because they're going to get some virgins in heaven or something.
Apocalyptic vision of the future ever possess nuclear weapons. And under no circumstances can they be allowed to hide and protect that program and their ambitions.
Yeah, 100%. And they had enough nuclear material for 11 missiles. And then we found out that they could actually launch a missile at Diego Garcia, which sounds like it shouldn't belong over there. Like Diego Garcia, you got all of a sudden in the middle of the Middle East or whatever, all of a sudden, hey, it's Diego Garcia, come here for a margarita, you know? And they launched a missile, it was like 2,000 miles to Diego Garcia, and that's when the people in Europe kind of got a little sphincter shrinkage. I'll just put it that way. Paris and London, they went, oh my God, well, they can hit us. And that's what they could have done. And they wouldn't have stopped there. So you see where it was going. And Donald Trump decided, because he's been talking about this his entire life since 1987, essentially, that eventually Iran was going to start some sort of war and Iran was going to have to be taken down. And look what we're doing. It's history. It's history. Here's Marco Rubio, because, you know, our NATO allies, which, honestly, fair weather friends, right? Fair weather friends. They left us hanging, man. Their TDS left us hanging. We're asking, hey, can we use your air bases? That's all we need. And then this is so cheap. Like, Keir Starmer, who's honestly a feminized version of Neville Chamberlain. I mean, like Kristi Noem's husband version of Neville Chamberlain. Hey, big boy. Anyway, he's like saying, oh, yeah, once you get the straits open and once the military operation's over, we'll send an aircraft carrier over. It's like, oh, yeah, you know what? How about just stick it? And so the other day, Donald Trump said, here's an idea. If you want, we don't depend on the Straits of Hormuz for your oil. So you take care of it. That's what he said. And now Marco Rubio and Donald Trump are saying, you know what? I think we're going to leave NATO.
Threatened. If now we have reached a point where the NATO alliance means that we can't use those bases, that in fact, that we can no longer use those bases to defend America's interests,
we're not going to help
then
you.
NATO is a one-way street.
Yeah.
Then NATO is simply about us having troops in Europe to defend Europe. But when we need their help, not their help.
Yeah, whenever they need a war booty call, they just call us up and we go, okay.
We're not asking them to conduct airstrikes. When we need them to allow us to use their military bases,
they let us down. They forsook us.
Our answer is no. Then why are we in NATO? You have to ask that question. Why do we have billions and billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars, over the years, trillions of dollars, and all of these American forces stationed in the region? If we can only use, in our time of need, we're not going to be allowed to use those bases.
Yeah, it's like having friends, you buy all the drinks at the bar and everything, and, the moment you're unemployed, they never call you again. I'm not saying that's ever happened to me, but it has. Here is Marco Rubio about the NATO rethink.
So I think there's no doubt, unfortunately, after this conflict is concluded, we are going to have to re-examine that relationship. Yeah. We're going to have to re-examine the value of NATO and that alliance for our country. Ultimately, that's a decision for the president to make.
2 words, yon, Y-O-N, let me see, Y-A-H-N-Y-O-N, yon.
And he'll have to make it. We're going to finish the job here. As I said, we're very, very close to achieving our objectives on all of these things that I've outlined.
Pretty much.
But I do think, unfortunately, we are going to have to re-examine whether or not this alliance that has served this country well for a while is still serving that purpose, or is it now become a one-way street where America is simply in a position to defend Europe?
That's what it is. That's what it is. They expect us to pull their rear ends out of the fire. We did it twice last century. I know that sounds like a cliche. We did. We saved your butts a couple times. We got a lot of our servicemen buried at Pointe-du-Hoc in France, for God's sake. And here we go, This Victor Davis Hanson. Oh, my God. Victor Davis Hanson, one of the things, he is a war historian, among other things. Everyone should listen to what he has to say, not only about how we have helped NATO. And you're thinking World War I, World War II, all that. No. Obviously, NATO wasn't around then. But since
European countries that are in NATO have a habit of unilateral activity for their own interests. When the British wanted to go into Falklands, they came to us and they said, we need 2 million gallons of gas. We need Tomahawks. We need Renaissance. We said, well, we want to restore relations with our Western Hemisphere Spanish-speaking friends. And nevertheless, we went out on a limb and supported them. When the French wanted to go into Chad unilaterally for a post-colonial expedition, they said to us, we need refueling, we need reconnaissance. When they wanted to bomb Libya, which was a misadventure, the French and British came to us. Would you please lead this bombing? When they wanted to go into Serbia, and protect Kosovo, which was not a NATO country, they came to us. And they said, would you lead this?
What about Ukraine?
When the Ukraine war, when Ukraine was attacked, I think on...
we gave them $250 billion. It was laundered largely, and including $200 million into Joe Biden's 2024 campaign by U.S. aid.
And we sympathized Ukraine, but it was not a NATO power. They came to us and said, would you spearhead the help for Ukraine? So it's always been a one-way street when they want to take action in their national interest. But this action was not just in our national interest, it was in the global interest.
We're saving the dang world again.
Secretary Rubio really brilliantly exposited. And then the final thing, Sean, we're not talking about a weak country. We're talking about NATO members in Europe that have 450 million people, 100 million people more than we do, and an economy of $22 trillion, the third largest in the world, 10 times larger than Russia. They're perfectly capable of stepping up and pulling their own weight. And this was a terrible, tragic error on their part. And Americans are going to have a long memory, and they're going to rue the moment they did this.
Yeah, 100%. You do not want to be on the wrong side of Donald Trump. You do not want to be on the wrong side. I mean, we are benevolent. We are the most benevolent people in the history of the world. And Donald Trump is the first president to say, you know, we're kind of tired of being bee-slapped by the rest of the world. We're kind of tired of bailing you out. And right now, England and France are on the verge of an Islamist takeover. You want us to? You're going to be needing to be bailed out, or you're going to fall. But I think this time they really kind of screwed the pooch. On the other side of the break, we have got a winning update. You know, it's Wednesday. It's Winning Wednesday. And we got some good news on the economy. We got some good news on Mercedes-Benz building cars in America. That's on the other side of the break. This is The Rob Carson Show. This fall, you're invited to experience Washington, D.C.
Deported. Deported. Deported.
Get him out. Ready? Are you ready? Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get the hell out of here. deported. 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 Get him out. Ready? Are you ready? Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get the hell out of here.
The taxes.
Have a rejoin.
Yay.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
You bet. And we went through hell getting him into the White House again. That's why we're doing a big trip to Washington, D.C., October the 25th through the 29th. A couple days after my birthday. You don't need to bring a gift, but your presence here for this magnificent trip to Washington, D.C. will be present enough. We're doing it, man. Cruising tour. They asked me where I would like to take you, my listeners and my viewers, my brothers and sisters who brought us to this moment in history, our 250th year. And I live in Washington, D.C. They said, well, you can go to Ireland, you can go to Iceland, you can go to wherever, you can go. Well, we could do D.C., but you don't want to D.C. because you live in D.C. I said, oh, my God, are you kidding me? There's no other place that I want to be. There's no other place that I want you to be than here with me. I made it here. You haven't. Let's get here. I came here for you. You're here with me. October the 25th through the 29th, 5 days, 4 nights. Tour the White House Visitor Center. See the U.S. Capitol building. Arlington National Cemetery. Witness the changing of the guard. It's unbelievable. Go see the statue of Lincoln and the Lincoln Memorial. See the reflecting pool. See the Lincoln or the Washington Monument. See all of the war memorials. World War II is amazing. Vietnam is amazing. Korea is amazing. All of them are amazing. Our adventure includes hotel accommodations, premium hotel accommodations, 4 nights in the heart of D.C., 6 meals, ground transportation, guides, gratuities, and my company, which you can't place a value on. Trip of a lifetime, it is. I sounded like Yoda. Trip of a lifetime, it is. Travelwithrob.net. Travelwithrob.net to book your getaway. Get on it because it's going to sell out. 800-383-3131. 800-383-3131 or travelwithrob.net. By the way, the Artemis II mission launches tonight on Newsmax at 6:24 Eastern. 6:24 Eastern. I can't wait. I'm a science geek. I cannot wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. I was a kindergarten, I guess, the last time I went to, we landed on the moon, the only country to land on the moon, thank you very much, and we played golf. I think it's time for a little Wednesday winning update.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning. Lots of winning. It's oh so good.
And I was going to play Harry Hinton panicking, or he's not panicking, he's celebrating that Donald Trump's approval ratings have dipped. You know what I think about those approval ratings? I don't give a flying rip. Joe Biden, well, the people who handled him and used the auto pen, they never gave a damn about his approval ratings. He was wildly unpopular, much less popular than Donald Trump. So I don't give a flying rip Donald Trump took the biggest chance a president can do in the midterms by taking down the world's largest state sponsor of terror and doing it unapologetically. Joe Biden didn't do anything like that. They would have never had the balls to do something like this, but Donald Trump did it. So I don't care about his approval rating or his popularity or whatever, because it's going to come up because we're kicking Iran's butt. Now, here's the good news. Consumer confidence is up, which generally means you got more money.
We just got the latest read on consumer confidence. Lydia, the number, please.
Stuart, we're coming in at 91.8. The expectation was 88, so this is an upbeat.
That's like almost 4.
Read higher than what we were expected, and also higher than last month's read, which was 91.2. It seems that consumers are not as concerned about the economy as maybe what we were expecting. 91.8, more upbeat than the expected 88.
Yeah, I know I feel 1.8 more upbeat, whatever that means. It's good. Mercedes-Benz planning to invest $4 billion at its Tuscaloosa County plant by 2030 as the German automaker continues to build on a legacy that launched Alabama's dynamic automotive industry. Sweet Home Alabama, baby. They do the GLE and the GLS SUVs and marked a production milestone of 5 million vehicles at the facility. Mercedes selected Alabama for its first U.S. plant in 1993. Then in 1997 debuted the pioneering M-Class SUV that put the state's auto workers in the international spotlight. By the way, Mercedes-Benz employs about 5,800 people in Alabama, sorry. I just insulted the Alabamans. And it represents an investment of $7 billion. I think it wasn't a George Bush that said that there were some jobs Americans won't do. No, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong, Jorge. You are absolutely 1,000% wrong. So there's the good news about the economy. $17 trillion, by the way, of new investment happening in the country. By the way, Iran is giving a flimsy excuse, as flimsy as cardboard, as to why its probably gay and injured new supreme leader, Khamenei, has not been seen. They say that the reason for his absence from public is the observance of security considerations due to the current special circumstances. He is in full health and continuing to lead the country. Sure, you keep telling yourself that. Now, I'm saying he's most probably dead. And so's Jim Gossett, actually, on the Rob Carson Show.
Khomeini, where are you? Could it be true that you've completely vanished?
Yeah, he's dead.
You've become a ghost, maybe you're toast. Perhaps you have been vanished. Are you underground? You can't be found. Hey, that's not my department. Can't get you on the phone. Are you alone? Or in some guy's apartment?
Could be, actually.
A leader Iran needs, but Khomeini, not one person has seen you. What else is new?
Oh.
Are you in hiding, or did someone stage a palace coup?
Khamenei, where are you?
It's you!
Scooby-Doo!
Haven't seen a hide nor hair. We aren't aware of your current location. Is Moshaba gone? Maybe he's on a permanent vacation.
There you go. Scooby-Doo, where are you? I do a pretty good Shaggy. That is Jim Gossett. You can help him out by going to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Give him $10, $20 a month, whatever you want to do. Help out a conservative content producer, brilliant comedian. I mean, the best I've ever worked with, and I've done it for a long time. Patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. The one, the only, the awesome, the incredible, the vivacious, the Spitfire, the one, Brigitte Gabriel, National Security Analyst, actforamerica.org, joins us on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince. Winter is over. I'm putting away the layers, the vest, the tweed jackets, getting out the shorts and the light linen shirts. Quince.com is where I refresh my wardrobe and pare down the old, tired, lower quality stuff that I've held on for years. Quince makes high-quality, everyday essentials using premium materials like 100% European linen and their insanely soft, flow-knit activewear fabric. Their men's linen pants and shirts are lightweight, breathable, comfortable, basically the perfect layer for spring. The pants strike the right balance between laid back and refined, so you look put together without trying too hard. The best part is the prices are 50 to 60% less than similar brands. Quince works directly with ethical factories, cuts out the middleman, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup. Everything is designed to last and makes getting dressed easy. Go to quince.com/Newsmax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now in Canada, quince.com/Newsmax. That's quince.com/Newsmax. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax.
I make the Democrats look incredibly dumb. Inflation is down, the economy's starting to hum. Still, it's a real good bet, the best is yet to come. Best is yet to come since we bombed Iran. Taking out all their nukes, that was part of the plan. The border's secure once again. Illegals are getting in. Doge has saved us billions. This is what it's like to win. Best is yet to come, and it's gonna be fine. Best is yet to come. Hear the Democrats whine. Listen to them whine. The last laugh is mine.
Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed.
I would say that within 2 weeks, maybe 3, we're hitting them very hard. Last night we knocked out tremendous amounts of missile-making facilities. We, as you probably read or wrote,
will be gone.
We knocked out, excuse me?
Pardon me for interrupting. The U.S. will be gone or done with the war in 2
I think we're 2 or 3 weeks.
There you go. That is the President of the United States. He also said yesterday that Iran has agreed to never, ever have a nuclear weapon. We will see how the governance happens, but joining us to talk about this, someone who knows a lot more about this than I do. I watch her every time she's on television. I stop everything to talk to see Brigitte Gabriel, national security analyst, New York Times bestselling author, and the chairman of actsforamerica.org. Brigitte, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you, my friend. I'm delighted to be back with you again.
I am excited, Brigitte, because, Donald Trump said that we're going to get this done in 4 to 6 weeks. The reason why he did that is because his commander said, if you let us do what we do, we'll do it in 4 to 6 weeks. What do you think thus far of the operation, and do you agree with the outlook for when this is going to wrap?
Well, President Trump has done this before when he trusted the military and he let them loose on ISIS. And we saw the result in his first term in 2017. They were able to take care of business within 2 weeks. With Iran, obviously Iran is a bigger monster. It is Goliath. And what we have been able to accomplish is just phenomenal. I mean, I tell people all the time, remember, World War II took 4 years.
Yes.
Here we have been able to accomplish in 4 weeks 90% of our objective. So I believe we will finish the war, and we will finish it soon. We have already destroyed pretty much most of their capabilities. They've got few leftover missiles they're trying to launch. But we will not, President Trump will not finish this job one day too early. He will make sure that when we say it is done, he means it is done, and the threat has been removed. And so I have confidence in him. I trust his ability. I trust his judgment. He's privy to information that you and I do not have, as well as the military leaders. And that's all I can say is, thank God we have President Trump in office.
Well, I think, and isn't it interesting? This is Easter week. This is Passover week. This is a holy week for many people. I said that Donald Trump's election would result in the spread of freedom and patriotism and faith around the world, and Iran has run roughshod over the world for 47 years, and this is just part of the equation. If you, just a couple of years ago, could you have imagined such a resounding defeat of one of the most powerful militaries in the world as far as missile technology is concerned? Could you have imagined that we could do it so quickly with so few casualties, fewer casualties than the United States loses during training missions in a major conflict to bring down this military regime?
Well, having President Trump is why we are able to do it.
Yeah.
I could not have imagined it under any other president, because we knew before him for the last 47 years, it didn't matter whether we had a Republican or a Democrat in office. And that started with George Bush, the first one, and then Clinton,
Yes.
and then George Bush, the son, and then we had Obama, and then after Obama, thank God, President Trump came, and he started putting the pressure on Iran, and then, of course, Biden came. So I knew we can do it under President Trump, but I did not have any faith in any other president other than President Trump, and it didn't matter whether they were Republicans or Democrats. I have faith in the American military.
Yes.
I have faith in our superpower.
Yes.
I have faith in what our military is able to execute, as long as they have a leader who unleashes the shackles from around their ankles and tells them, go do what you have been trained to do and what the American taxpayers invested billions of dollars in you to do, exactly what we need you to do, and that is protect the United States. Our military is capable. We just needed the man with the backbone to be able to stand with and support our military to do the job that they were trained to do.
Where do you see the Middle East being a few years from now? Because we are seeing millennial change. We are seeing it happen because two men, Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump, have done this. They are a millennial leadership like we've never seen before. You've got the Abraham Accords that have already happened. They're going to be adding to that. You've got, you're not hearing anything from Hamas, by the way. This decapitates the tentacles of the Iran terror machine around the world, Brigitte. I mean, this is incredible.
This stops the money flow.
Ugh.
Look, Cars do not drive without gasoline. You have to put energy in the car in order for it to drive. And the funding that has been poured into terrorist organizations in the Middle East, whether it was Hamas, whether it was Hezbollah, whether it was the Houthis, these groups were organized because Iran was funding them.
Yes.
Last year alone, in 2025, Iran sent $1 billion to Hezbollah in Lebanon. $1 billion. This is in the middle of such economic collapse in Iran, yet they took money out of their citizens and sent it to Hezbollah. So the reason why the Middle East is going to change is because we cut off the money spigot that was funding Hezbollah to build missiles, to buy the tools that they use to execute their terrorist attacks and terrorize the Middle East. That's what's going to change, and I am hoping because of this change, we'll be able to see a totally different, peaceful Middle East.
You've been the victim of terror. You have lived through this. You went through hell as a young person. And
I went through hell as a young person, and I was actually talking to my friends in Lebanon right before I got on this call with you. Because they are in southern Lebanon, in the area that now Israel is moving into, north of the Litani River, south of the Litani River, to establish the same security zone I grew up in. And so here we are. 50 years later, life is playing again the exact same scenarios, like we're running in a circle.
I know.
But hopefully this time, with the decapitation of Hezbollah, with the decapitation of Iran, the terrorist regime in Lebanon will not be able to grow and mushroom and establish a terror hub in the Middle East and give the people an opportunity to live in peace. So for me, this is personal, what we're witnessing right now in the Middle East.
Oh, my God. I mean, think about this. Hezbollah and Hamas, who've been able to run roughshod and commit acts of terror for decades, and now they're penniless. They have no support, and Israel is moving. That must mean a lot to you, that Israel is moving in. I mean, do you see yourself going back to where you suffered so much as a different country?
That's exactly the conversation I was having half an hour ago. I cannot wait for Israel to go in so I can actually go back home and see my home.
Wow.
The home that I grew up in. Be able to see, the places, the church my father built where I grew up singing in the choir until I was 20 years old. My children will never lay eyes on these places unless I am able to go back, and the only way I can do that is if Israel goes in and takes over this area so I can go back to Lebanon through Israel in order to see the places where I grew up.
I love it. Now, Brigitte Gabriel, I want to talk to you on the other side about the leadership of Iran. Do you believe that Pahlavi is going to take over? Do you believe that the people of Iran have the wherewithal to usher in a new era of freedom in Persia? Let's take a break and come back. More with the great Brigitte Gabriel. Actforamerica.org. Sign up for actforamerica.org and support them. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Newsmax.com.
Remember, it all starts with they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Just, I said yesterday, they said, what are the top 10? I said, well, number 1, 2, and 3 is they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And we're talking about that. And I don't want to say in advance, but they've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon.
Now, this kind of, I kind of wonder, Brigitte Gabriel of actforamerica.org, you can't trust the mullahs, which makes me kind of hope, obviously, that Donald Trump is saying they aren't the people we're negotiating with anymore. What are your thoughts about who's coming into power? Pahlavi was at CPAC. There was a massive rally of Iranians and their supporters in the Washington, D.C. that was not covered by the media. What do you suppose is going to happen in the power vacuum that's left after the Ayatollahs are gone?
Well, I am sure that President Trump and his leadership team, as well as the Israelis, I'm sure they have coordinated to make sure that the day after there will not be a power vacuum. And I believe the meeting between President Trump and Netanyahu, when Netanyahu came to the White House right before they did the attack, a few days before the attack, meeting, and I think you and I have talked about it back then. That meeting was about the day after, not whether or not they're going to attack Iran. But I am sure they are working within their channels with whoever they're negotiating with about who's going to be able to take over the government and basically give power to the Iranian people. Obviously, we decimated the tier structure, the power structure under the mullahs, which was created with the mullahs. At this point, I'm sure they're going to have an interim government. Maybe Pahlavi will be the interim president working with the people in Iran until the Iranians choose somebody from the country who's been living in the country for a long time. Because remember, a lot of people inside Iran are not really familiar with him. A lot of the Iranians in the diaspora support him.
Young
they
people.
Want him. They know who he is. But at least they trust him. And I believe he will be probably the interim because America trusts him. He's worked with President Trump. He's here on our side. He's been to Mar-a-Lago. I'm sure they're working with him to do to be basically the transitional team until they get somebody there stabilized and the country stabilized where they can have an election. Yeah, and there are other groups who are helping out as well. Also, I've been kind of, I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't, but I'm watching the IRCG troops being attacked by people working with Israeli intelligence, the Basij, or whatever that group is, being taken out by the people. Do you suppose, it sounds like they are not able to obviously run roughshod, drive around town murdering people, attempting to protest like they did 35,000 of them. Do you suppose that that structure is going to be gutted, those secret police? Oh, absolutely.
Good.
The people of Iran despise the secret police. I mean, they are the enforcers of the law, the Basij. They hate them. And so that will be the first thing to go because basically they were the ones harassing the people on the ground. 400,000 Basij members were on the streets of Iran harassing the people, beating the people, enforcing the religious law, the morality law, and the Iranians are completely over it. If there is one organization in Iran that the population will revolt against, it's going to be the Basij.
As a woman, it's got to be pretty amazing, and I'm very, very disappointed but not surprised in the left and Democrats that they can't celebrate another generation of women in Iran no longer having to live in bondage, in slavery, in fear, and the possibility that young Iranian girls can live to their potential. It's overwhelming. How does it make you feel?
Well, it's so wonderful to see and know that the women in Iran are going to have the ability to live freely, to be able to let their hair fly in the wind, to be able to breathe, live however they want to live. I am not the least surprised at the reaction of the feminist movement and the leftist women organization in America because they have shown their true colors. They side with anybody that hates Trump and hates Israel, period. If Trump is saving the fish, The left is going to be upset that the sharks do not have enough fish to eat.
You know,
they hate him. They're going to stand against him no matter what he does.
You know, I'm more optimistic.
They show their true colors.
Brigitte, I'm more optimistic for Iran than I am for Great Britain and France right now. I mean, really, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Or New York City, for God's sake. Or New York City.
I agree with you because we are seeing the Islamist side with the wrong people on the wrong side instead of standing with the Iranian people, even though they are Muslims. I mean, it is unbelievable to see that the Arabic countries, all the Arabic blocs, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, the Arab Emirates, are standing shoulder to shoulder with America and Israel against Iran and speaking up against Iran. Yet you've got Belgium, the UK, France, basically siding with the mullahs.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that we would get to that day.
Well, I love the fact that they're talking about just saying to hell with NATO because they're fair weather friends and we're tired of bailing them out. And I am optimistic about the future of the world, particularly the Middle East. Brigitte Gabriel, as always, you are awesome. Actforamerica.org. Give us a quick recap of what you guys do and why you should sign up.
Thank you. People need to join us because we are the largest grassroots movement in America working with the president to preserve our culture and preserve our values. We have passed 300 bills at the federal level and the state level to protect America. We need you by our side. Go to actforamerica.org and join us. Start a chapter in your community. Become a member. Volunteer. We need you. We're mobilizing chapters nationwide, especially this very important election year.
Yes.
We need you by our side. Go to actforamerica.org right now and join us.
Yeah, Brigitte Gabriel on this Easter and Passover week. A special God bless you to you. I'm optimistic about the world. I really, really am. And it's so nice to have you on today. I appreciate your expertise.
Thank you, my friend. Happy holidays.
Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hi, guys. She's awesome. She just kicks butt. She just kicks butt. Let's see here. What do we got? Hello, Carol Leftwich. What's going on? Hello, Jellyfish Hunter. How are you guys doing over on Facebook? What are you talking about today? Pranay Upachat. Good morning, Pranay. Who else is watching? Kathy Doman. What's going on? What's going on? Janine Page, Beck Ottenberry. Beck Ottenberry, yes, she is, isn't she? She's amazing. Carrie R. Corley says, Jesus, you betcha. Did you see, I put up on social media last night, did you see the 10,000 drone Texas light show about the life of Christ? Mind-bending. I put it on my social last night. I think it's on Twitter. I think it's on my LinkedIn. It's amazing. All right, round of pony. Carrie Madden. Scooby Snacks. Scooby-Doo, where are you? Who's watching on X? Hello, X-Patriots. X-Patriots. A lot of people watching on X. We get a lot of people watching on all of these platforms. I appreciate you. Gladys Kravitz, what's going on? This is a very important Easter and Passover, isn't it? It is. It's a special year. There's a lot of stuff going on that I can't explain. There's a lot of things. The 250th year, Donald Trump's president. I'm here. Peace in the Middle East. The fall of the Ayatollahs. It's that. It's the reaction to the action of evil. That's what we're living through right now. We just need to drive evil into the pits of hell. At 350. It is the Rob Carson Show. Brigitte Gabriel just kicks butt. Totally. Love her. She went through hell in Lebanon. She was buried alive. Her home. She was injured. She's one of the most powerful women I've ever known, and I look forward to the day that I meet her in person. Maybe she'll come to D.C., or maybe I'll meet her over in Lebanon. What the hell, with her hubby, and we'll go out and we'll celebrate freedom. We'll celebrate faith and the downfall of Islamism. So the dollar's convertibility into gold ended in 1971. Back then, it was fixed at $35 an ounce. I know, another opportunity that went by, right? You could have had it. I wasn't old enough to have $34 at the time, $35. Fast forward today, the U.S. dollar has lost 85% of its purchasing power. Gold, on the other hand, has increased in value by over 12,000%. Why? Because they've been printing the hell out of money. It's made our money worth less. That's why it now costs $420,000 for a home on average, and you pay for it for 30 years. That's what printing money did. Central banks are buying up gold. Major firms like Vanguard, BlackRock hold significant positions in gold. If you're worried about investing in gold, how about learn first? How about that? How about start with education? Birch Gold just announced their Learn and Earn Precious Metals event. This free event online rewards you for learning the basics of investing in precious metals. Sign up to get free silver on your next purchase. Get even larger incentives as you go. The more you learn, the more you can earn. Ketanji Brown Jackson, you have no chance of doing this because you have never been able to learn anything because you're kind of a dingbat. That said, the rest of us can do it. You got to act by April the 30th, okay? So that's it. So all you got to do to sign up is do what you do normally when you want to get in touch with Birch Gold. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold. Learn and Earn Precious Metals event. Do it by April the 30th. Donald Trump was asked about the new library he's going to build in Miami versus the Death Star that's over budget, the Barack Obama Library in Chicago.
Your son Eric posted a photo of what will be the...
It's pretty cool, by the way.
Library. It's a huge skyscraper.
Yeah, it's going to be more than a library, by the way.
Is that all a library?
Maybe a hotel. Listen.
Well, it's a library. It's a museum or a library. It's a presidential. But I wouldn't start it till I'm out of office.
No.
I don't believe in building libraries or museums. It's really like the Barack Hussein Obama one in Chicago. In not a good location, and it's a very unattractive building.
Yeah, it's
that's
awful.
seriously late. And
It looks like that the sand crawler in the first Star Wars that the droids came out of.
Over budget. I think you're going to see a great one here, and it'll go up on time, on budget, best location.
I think you ought to make it into hotel and casino. I'm not kidding either, by the way. What an absolute tribute to capitalism. And who the hell goes to the library anymore? Unless you're homeless wanting to look at porn. You know, I mean, that's really about what you do. Or they've got like the last library I went to and when I lived in Kansas, they had literally a room where kids could go play video games. Really? Really? A library? Really? I got the library Alexandria in my pants. I'm talking about my phone, ladies. Anyway, last hour of the Rob Carson Show on the way. Going to talk about the library. Going to talk about a Democrat judge saying no to the ballroom. That's going to collapse his argument, by the way, on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere.
interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 3 of the show on this Easter Wednesday. Easter, Passover. It's a big week. It's a really big week. It is. I can feel it. I just watched on the Twitter and hundreds of thousands of Ethiopian Christians gathering in an unapologetic explosion of faith. And there's a lot of murder of Christians happening in sub-Saharan Africa. I stick by my original prediction about what's happening in the world, and I said that 2024 was the reaction to the action of evil, because if you believe in physics, you know that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. And I believe that exists with karma, with good and evil. Good and evil, I think, exist. I've put a good deal of thought into it, by the way, over the years about God and faith, and I saw a lot of evil overtaking the world. You did too. You did too. You saw what we were up against over the years with censorship, with all the negative coverage, with the insanity of this transgender nonsense that came out of nowhere, where children suddenly decided they wanted to be transgender. There was nothing organic about it. It was insanity. It was absolute insanity. And it was a psyop, and it left behind it a lot of children. I have friends who have a daughter who's a frickin' mess. She's an absolute mess. She's angry. She's confused. She wanted to go through the transgender thing. She was scheduled to have her breasts removed, and her parents are good conservatives, and they're like, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. And one day, after all of the, just the insanity of it, being told that you as a girl, during COVID, everything shut down, and they separated our kids, and they destroyed their lives with getting them out of school and all of that. And then on top of all that, they decided to say, oh, you know what, girls, you'd be much happier if you were a boy. And instead of it being like an insane thing to even consider the possibility of becoming a boy, which isn't possible, they ran with it, and everybody bought into it. Medical professionals bought into it. Medical professionals, doctors who should know you cannot become the opposite sex. It's not possible. All it is cosmetic. All you're doing is cosmetic. All you're doing is mutilative. I mean, my God, I as it was happening, I said, paging Dr. Mengele. Paging Dr. Mengele. Yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled 8-1 against Colorado's ban on conversion therapy for minors. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who is an idiot, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who literally, when she was going through her Supreme Court nomination hearing, said she didn't know, couldn't tell you what a woman is. Stop everything and just think about that for a second. We descended into insanity so far that but society in general, the Democrat Party, decided there were more than one gender, and they couldn't tell you that a woman is an adult female. There is still no excuse for that. There's still no defending that. But Ketanji Brown Jackson is so bloody stupid, she doesn't know it. Here is a little montage of her first year as a Supreme Court justice with her signature phrase.
I don't understand. Can I just understand? And I don't understand. And so what I don't understand, I don't understand your argument. I'm just trying to understand your answer. I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I don't understand. And I'm just trying to understand. I don't understand, but I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to understand. So I'm trying to understand. I'm sort of with Justice Kagan trying to understand.
She's like the Supreme Court justice. It's like you're a dog when, they recognize a couple words. Squirrel, outside, walk. You can't say them around there. So they tilt their heads, and I think that's how Ketanji Brown. Yeah, and unapologetically, she's not a smart individual. So anyway, The lawsuit was filed by Christian talk therapist Kaylee Childs. Kaylee Childs argued that Colorado's ban on her talk therapy methods violated her First Amendment rights. She was trying to tell kids you can't be the opposite sex and you're just going to destroy your lives. But of course, these Nazis who've been in charge of our speech for so long and told us we couldn't say anything online about things like this and told us that we were suddenly transphobic. Transphobic, there's a word that just popped up in literally the last 8 years or so. Non-binary just crept up out of nowhere. Non-binary, it never existed before. It's nonsense. Under our precedents, bedrock First Amendment principles have for less salience when the speakers are medical professionals, Judge Jackson wrote. The 8-1 decision in favor of therapist Kaylee Childs on her claim brought by under the Constitution's First Amendment is likely to have national implications. More than 20 states have similar laws. Writing for the majority, Judge Neil Gorsuch said that the First Amendment stands as a shield against any effort to enforce orthodoxy in thought or speech in this country. That's what they forced it upon us. That's why they censored us online. They did that for a number of things. This was number one on the list. Here is Jonathan Turley on the decision, and Ketanji Brown Jackson being the only justice who voted against it.
Colorado has proven really a bonanza for the free speech community. They keep on trying to curtail free speech and getting these opinions that go in the opposite direction. Here, Colorado wanted to say that you couldn't go and speak to a counselor about these types of sexual orientation issues with your minor child. Yeah. And the court voted 8-1 that's
they took your children from you. They said that you as a parent have no business. You know, they wouldn't let a 12-year-old have a tattoo, but they would let a 12-year-old have her healthy breast tissue removed and a hysterectomy and purity blockers. That's insane.
Limitation on free speech. The unnerving aspect of the opinion proved to be the dissent by Justice Jackson, who would have just sort of brushed aside the free speech issues and treated all of this as conduct that can be eliminated or banned by the state of...
It's because she's an idiot. My God. Rahm Emanuel, who I'm not a fan of. I think he's a very dark individual. I'm talking about his soul. Here he is talking about the Democrat Party, and I know you're all freaking out because Donald Trump's his popularity is dropping, and the price of gas and the war and all this and all that, and I understand that. But the Democrat Party has nothing right now but anti-Trump. Listen to Rahm Emanuel about how the Democrats lost their way, and that includes the insane transgender nonsense.
We lost the plot. We as Democrats nationally, from Latinx to defunding the police to police.
Latinx. They try to tell Hispanics that you had to go with Latinx instead of Latina and Latino. Didn't work out so well.
These organizations are all racist to bringing a set of cultural wars to our schools. We are on the losing side of those cultural wars. Full stop. You are worried about bathroom access and locker room access. Why don't you focus on classroom excellence? You have 50% of our kids not reading at grade level.
Well, they can just say we can do both.
You've proven you can't because you've permitted a 30-year low in reading and math scores, and nobody seems to be calling the whistle on this.
Yeah.
We lost the plot.
Yeah.
Why?
Because...
You don't know? Do you not understand?
The party got unanchored. Every one of our most successful electoral presidents anchored themselves in what I call middle-class values and values that are universal, at least in this country, ascribed to. We went from acceptance to advocacy.
Yeah.
Big difference. And I'll just take one on that I shouldn't. So here it goes.
Shouldn't.
I remember fighting for Title IX. The reason we are champions in women's sports in the Olympics and soccer, hockey, etc. is Title IX. Why would you undercut the premise of Title IX with the ability of trans men playing in women's sports?
Because you went out of your friggin' mind.
We have to Trump. Please don't tell my children that I just did that.
You get your musty hands off of our money or go to Moscow.
You're nuts.
You musty moo.
They're trying to rob you, and they're probably a minor.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here. I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? You should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes.
Department of Government Efficiency. You just remember, it is the Department of Government Evil.
What is the problem with those? What is the problem with
Yeah, you guys are insane. This is Jonathan Turley. I love Jonathan Turley. Talking about the Democrat Party. Listen to this. This is about, the No Kings protest that had... It was about nothing. It was about nothing. Listen to him.
Everywhere you looked across the country this weekend, you saw a sea of overwhelmingly white, overwhelmingly older, overwhelmingly female, affluent liberals.
Remember when Kamala Harris became the candidate? They made her the candidate. I said that her followers, the Democrat Party, were insane, cul-de-sac dwelling, liberal Karens, and the emasculated men in their lives. And I nailed it.
Gen Z, the generation the Democrats have been counting on to save them, to give them an unassailable electoral majority for the rest of the century, was nowhere to be found. Latinos, the other demographic on which Democrats...
Black people. Where were the black people at the No Kings? They weren't there.
Built their entire future projections. Also nowhere to be found. These two demographics in particular, that the Democrat Party has staked everything on, had literally zero interest in this feeble political stunt.
Yeah.
And the crowd that did show up,
yeah,
interestingly, they represented what social psychologists call symbolic management of protest.
Listen to this. This proves that the protest was about nothing.
In other words, nobody's putting their livelihood at risk. Nobody's facing real consequences for their participation.
No.
The shutdown of what's called life choices. Nobody's sacrificing anything to do this. Just comfortable, affluent, white, elder liberals performing resistance to maintain their self-image as progressive activists.
100%, that's what it was about. Martin Luther King Jr. got beaten the hell beat out of him a number of times, was hospitalized and imprisoned. These people are just leaving their cul-de-sacs or their retirement communities to come out and hold a banner that somebody else has printed for them and talk about nothing. I mean, unbelievable. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. This fall, you're invited to experience Washington, D.C. in a truly unforgettable way with me, Rob Carson, and other Newsmax listeners. Imagine strolling through our nation's capital as America celebrates 250 years and seeing history come alive with an expert guide. Together, we'll tour the White House Visitor Center, step into the halls of democracy with a guided tour of the U.S. Capitol building, visit Arlington National Cemetery and the changing of the guard, stand in awe before the towering figure of President Abraham Lincoln, and take in the beauty of D.C.'s legendary memorials with a special nighttime illumination tour. Our adventure includes premium hotel accommodations for 4 nights in the heart of D.C., in addition to 6 meals, ground transportation guides, and gratuities. Space is limited, so don't wait. Visit travelwithrob.net to book your D.C. getaway today, or give our friends at Cruise and Tour a call at 800-383-3131. That's 800-383-3131 or travelwithrob.net. From man can take them away. Yeah, you've heard this before. I want to play a little more of Jonathan Turley. No, I was getting confused. Jonathan Turley is Stephen Turley. Stephen Turley's the academic. Jonathan Turley's on Fox News. They're both great, by the way. But Stephen Turley was on talking about the No Kings and what it is to the people who went out. And you know, it can be dispiriting to see, 8 million, whatever, people being paid to go out and do these protests, and they're claiming all this momentum and everything. It's difficult. And then they were on there, they were taunting us this week, saying, well, why weren't you out? Why weren't you pro-Trumpers out? Well, because we have a freaking job. Because we would rather, live the life, live free, go to church, I don't know, spend the weekend with our families than going out to stupid, mindless protests. How about that, you guys? I mean, you morons. What the hell? But anyway, listen to Stephen Turley about who was out at No Kings and why they were
there. A New York psychotherapist named Jonathan Alpert, who wrote an op-ed critically diagnosing the last No Kings rally several months back.
And this goes to the argument that they're insane because they're insane.
Reappeared this weekend and gave a pretty fascinating assessment of the whole ordeal. He does indeed confirm that many of these participants in these rallies are indeed suffering from neurosis. The people who came out, many of them elderly.
People don't wear frog costumes and hippopotamus costumes and dress like bananas and wear red lipstick as men if you're freaking sane.
Many of them retired. They admitted...
Remember, they were rolling people out in wheelchairs. I don't even know if they knew where the hell they were. That's what they were doing to fill up the protests.
On camera. That they couldn't enjoy a vacation.
Yeah.
They couldn't enjoy time with their family or their loved ones. All because of their psychotic fixation with Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And so the psychologists argued that these people were not protesting.
No.
They're medicating.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
They're not protesting, they're medicating. They're using a political rally the way an addict uses a substance for temporary relief, for the dopamine hit of collective grievance, for the illusion of doing something meaningful while their movement quietly collapses all around them.
Yeah.
And for me, what was most fascinating in this analysis is that the psychologists diagnosed politics as a form of religion for these protests.
Because they don't believe in God, a lot of them.
Right? Politics has become the new religion of the radical left. And in many respects, I have to say, there it is.
There it is. I couldn't agree more. They're mentally ill. People don't behave like this as adults, and if they're sane. Just look at the footage. Dear God. I mean, honestly, we are not this separated from reality. We don't know these freaking people are nuts. Eric Swalwell is very mad. Eric Swalwell, very mad because, he banged a Chinese spy. Did I say that? Yeah, I said it. He banged a Chinese spy named Fang Fang for years. And he ended up working at the CIA, overseeing the CIA, even though he was banging a Chinese spy, literally Chinese spy. That, once it was discovered, the Chinese government, the Communist Party, took her out of the country. In other words, ordered Chinese takeout. And now he's really mad that Kash Patel's going to look into it. And he says it's the worst thing, the worst of abuse by the FBI since J. Edgar Hoover.
Meant to try and smear a political opponent. I mean, it's just absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But as my lawyer, one of our lawyers told me today, and this really kind of stops you right in your tracks. He said if they do this, it'll be the greatest abuse of power by an FBI director since J. Edgar Hoover. And so those are the...
Who kind of had the same syndrome that Kristi Noem's husband has. Yeah, kind of that. This is Jonathan Turley talking about Eric Swallowswell.
As long as the government complies with operative statutes like the Privacy Act and removes material that's protected, it's usually really left to the government as to the release of this type of information. And I don't think he'll succeed in just blocking it entirely.
Yeah, why is he trying to block it? A couple of years ago, he said, there's nothing there, nothing to see there. He was sleeping with a Chinese spy.
And his arguments for Epstein are going to come back to haunt him.
Yeah.
Well, a member of Congress like Swalwell does not have some unique privacy protection from federal investigations by the FBI. Particularly,
That is Greg Jarrett talking about it as well. So he's complaining right now, even though he had no problem with the FBI raiding Mar-a-Lago. That was unprecedented, by the way. The FBI being weaponized against Donald Trump and his followers and his associates and his transition team and his supporters by the FBI. But Kash Patel's looking into the fact that this guy, Eric Swallowswell, slept with a Chinese spy, a honeypot from communist China. Yeah, welcome to it.
Swalwell had a little bang bang with a little bang bang, a Chinese spy. Bang bang was his little honey, helped him raise money, and that is why he's out, there's no doubt, an affair he can't defend. Bang bang, Eric's little bang bang got him in the end. Bang bang, Eric's little bang bang proved he's China's friend.
Yeah.
Chip has a tiny little pencil, a tiny little pencil, a pencil neck. He is no more than a token, many laws he's broken, we suspect. Oh, Mars, you went too far, an anti-Semite clown. Chip Swalwell and Omar, I'm glad that they went down. Chip Swalwell and Omar, let's run them out of town.
Let's hope that Ilhan Omar gets denaturalized and deported. I'm hoping that'll happen very soon. And when it does, we're going to have to do some sort of celebration or something when she gets sent back to the meth lab trailer park of the world, also known as Somalia. So there you go. On the way, we're going to be talking a little bit about this judge who says that Donald Trump has to stop building the new ballroom. The argument is already dead, by the way. It's already dead. I'll explain why it's already dead. It's an idiotic ruling by a judge who's just existing to C-block Donald Trump's administration. Coming up, a voice of St. Louis, Chris Arps, joins us to talk about a number of issues, maybe a little Tiger Woods, too. This is The Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed.
If you're illegal alien in the United States, this message is for you. You cannot hide from ICE.
Avoiding ICE ain't easy. Illegals are so sleazy. Tom Homan set them straight. To ICE should be reporting. You should be self-deporting. Leaving will be your fate. Back home is where you're headed. That's safe to say, and you won't make a stop along the way. No longer can you stay here. You've seen your final day here, 'cause you've committed crime. Avoiding ICE ain't easy. It is far from easy. Avoiding ICE ain't easy anytime.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince. Winter is over. I'm putting away the layers, the vest, the tweed jackets, getting out the shorts and the light linen shirts. Quince.com is where I refresh my wardrobe and pare down the old, tired, lower quality stuff that I've held on for years. Quince makes high-quality, everyday essentials using premium materials like 100% European linen and their insanely soft, flow-knit activewear fabric. Their men's linen pants and shirts are lightweight, breathable, comfortable, basically the perfect layer for spring. The pants strike the right balance between laid back and refined, so you look put together without trying too hard. The best part is their prices are 50 to 60% less than similar brands. Quince works directly with ethical factories, cuts out the middleman, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup. Everything is designed to last and makes getting dressed easy. Go to quince.com/Newsmax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now in Canada, quince.com/Newsmax. That's quince.com/Newsmax. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax.
So with all of that, I'm very happy to be signing the voter integrity, and I think it's going to be really great. So if you don't mind, I will take some time, and I'll make this signature absolutely perfect. So it looks very good.
And so that's Donald
So far,
Trump
so good.
basically trying to make sure that, if you send in a mail-in ballot that you're a legal voter, it'll have a little code on it so you can prove that you are who you are and they aren't a bunch of printed off ballots that have appeared over the years in different elections, even though Democrats say no election fraud has ever taken place ever. Okay, sure. Joining me on the Newsmax hotline, Chris Arps, co-host of Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show, 94.1 News Talk STL, St. Louis, Missouri, baby. How you doing, Chris?
Rob, good afternoon from flyover country.
Flyover country. Nothing wrong with flyover country. I lived in Kansas City. I've lived in St. Louis. I love it. I love it. I love it. How are things in St. Louis, by the way?
It's great, man. We're having unseasonably warm weather today, and fantastic. I'm not a cold weather guy, so I'm loving that we're having a little early spring here in the Midwest.
How are the Cardinals looking this year?
Cardinals are 3-2 so far.
Gotcha.
They've got a very young team. The seasons have been very disappointing last few years. Cardinals have a history of winning playoffs and championships. So we're rebuilding right now. We've got a new GM. And so we've all got our fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Well, baseball was just a welcome welcome to me this year. I've moved around the country. I was texting you earlier. I grew up listening to Jack Buck. I miss that voice.
Oh, yeah.
My God in heaven. And Marty Brenneman in Cincinnati, when I lived in Cincinnati, one of the boys of summer, man, who made baseball so good. And so my heart has been in St. Louis for a very long time. I love St. Louis. I love me some toasted ravioli and some Ted Drew's, baby. Nothing wrong with it. So what do you think about...
Don't forget Emo's Pizza.
Emo's Pizza, which, I don't know what it is, what the dividing line is that my ex-wife hated Emo's Provel, but you could buy it like in different states, in Indiana and Missouri. You can buy their cheese, and it's sticky, weird cheese, but it's the best damn stuff, man.
It is.
It's fantastic. So what are the Democrats going to say about Donald Trump assuring that mail-in ballots are secure? What do you suppose they're going to say?
Well, of course, first of all, the Democrats say that there's no such thing as voter fraud.
Yes.
When it does occur, it's very, very rare.
Yes.
We've seen plenty of instances where illegals have voted in our elections. And my argument is, if one illegal alien votes, then that's one too many. And I don't see anything wrong with basically an insurance policy of trying to make sure that they don't vote in our elections. You don't buy home insurance after your house burns down.
It's so patently absurd to think that the Democrats want free and fair elections when they opened the southern border and ladled billions, possibly trillions of dollars of largesse on illegals coming in, gave them Social Security cards, etc. It is a plan. It is transparent when they say that they want to get rid of the CBP and the DHS and transportation, TSA agents and all of this and make them suffer. It's very obvious that the only thing they care about is not the safety and security of the American citizen, not the safety and security of the vote, but that they know they can rely on Democrats to vote no matter what they do in Washington, D.C. So 70% want voter ID, 100% of Democrats on Capitol Hill don't want it. They know that Democrats will vote for it even though they have no representation, but they need illegals to put them over the top to win. Would you agree?
I agree completely. And, this is not only an 80-20 issue. This is a 90-10 issue. Americans of all stripes, political stripes, conservative and liberal, are in favor of this. You remember back in Georgia a few years ago when Joe Biden said that when Georgia passed a voter ID bill that it was Jim Crow. And what happened? We had African Americans voting in record numbers. African Americans support this. And, you remember they did a survey after the Georgia election of African-American voters, and 100% said they had no problem voting on Election Day.
Chris, you're a black guy, and I would be insulted by the Democrat Party. My God in heaven, I don't know why people still stay with the Democrat Party. I got a friend who is in politics in Baltimore, and she decided that she was done with the Democrat Party. She used to knock on doors for Barack Obama. She used to campaign for Joe Biden and all of that, and she decided she was going to be a Republican, and she got called she told me some of the names she got called by Democrats. I mean, it was unbelievable. She said, but the Republican Party opened her with open arms to her. So how do you feel about all this nonsense, particularly saying that black people can't get an ID? I mean, my God in heaven, man.
Well, our so-called African-American leaders have made a litmus test that if you are not a supporter of the Democratic Party, that you aren't black. And fortunately, a lot of African-Americans are starting to reject that, me included, and also younger generation of African Americans are rejecting that as well. And I think, Rob, they're coming to the realization here that black people voting for one party is a loser.
Yeah, man.
You have the situation where one party doesn't take your vote seriously because they know they already have it. And then another party ignores you because they don't think they're ever going to get your vote. So we're in a political no man's land there. And that I believe whether you are conservative-leaning or liberal-leaning, you should have a choice to vote who you want to vote for and not be called a coon or a sellout or an Uncle Tom.
Well, that's exactly what, by the way, she told me she was called, by the way, and there's some other ones as well. But,
we can't say that on there.
My first gig in radio was Columbia, Missouri. and I remember seeing there was an inner city in Columbia, Missouri. It's small. It's typical. It's mostly black, mostly impoverished. And there just happens to be a Planned Parenthood on a street named after a civil rights leader. Same goes for Cincinnati. Same goes for Kansas City. I'm sure the same damn thing happens in St. Louis, Missouri. And it has been a part of my life work to end this against people of color, kids of color, to have a generation that would grow up where they wouldn't have to be shot when they're riding their damn bikes, and they would be able to have a good school and all this. And I tell you what, I saw, I moved to Washington, D.C. 7 months ago. It has turned around. You saw what happened in Memphis, Tennessee. Are you hoping and praying that someday that's going to come to St. Louis?
I do. You know, St. Louis, as you know, is a very, very blue city.
I know
We're very democratic. You remember few years ago, we actually voted for Cori Bush. I'm in her district.
Oh,
he
dear
is
God.
an avowed anti-Semite.
Oh, my God.
He is an avowed racist. He, of course, is running again for her seat against the former congressman who's trying to make a comeback. But, you know, one thing that's very amazing when you mention the abortion issue, you know, at one time, African Americans, and I think generally still are, but our leaders were conservative. You know who Emmanuel Cleaver is.
Oh, yes.
He's the Democratic congressman there in Kansas City.
Yeah.
You know, at one time he was on the board of Missouri Right to Life, an anti-abortion group. I've seen Jet magazine covers of Jesse Jackson saying how abhorrent it is to be killing babies, and that's a terrible thing, and that Planned Parenthood were put into our communities to create basically a genocide. And in a generation or two, that all changed, especially for Jesse Jackson when he ran for president in '84.
Yeah.
And he took Planned Parenthood, I call it Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
He took Planned Parenthood's blood money, and then he automatically became pro-choice.
All right, Chris.
A man of the gospel, a preacher.
Chris, I got to tell you this. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? You know the name of the street in Kansas City where the Planned Parenthood is? Emmanuel Cleaver Boulevard. It's Emmanuel Cleaver. All right, listen, I want to talk a little bit more about this on the other side of the break. Chris Arps, he's a morning show host or a talk show host in St. Louis, Missouri at 94.1 News Talk SEL, also 101.9. Chris, can you hold on, brother?
Of course.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All right, these worth keeping. More with Chris Arps, talk show host from St. Louis and St. Louis, Missouri, baby. In one moment, I want to mention, I want to get you in my bed, my ghost bed. If you're not sleeping well, if you're not sleeping through the night, ghost bed is unreal. I mean, I used to consider sleeping a punchline. I mean, I was like, why am I wasting time? I was like, remember that when on Seinfeld, when Kramer said, I'm going to go without sleeping? That was my life. I went a foam mattress that I ordered online. It's a piece of crap. It's like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. And then they told me about ghost bed. I said, okay, I'll try a ghost bed. And I ordered a ghost bed, queen-size mattress, rolled up, brought it in, laid it on the bed, unwrapped it, boing! All of a sudden you got a full-size queen mattress with a topper. The best. I slept till 7 o'clock this morning. I slept till my phone woke me up. Save 10% on already great spring prices. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Just look at it, okay? If you don't believe me, look at my social media. You'll see the bed there and everything. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Chris Arps, you'll appreciate our theme song for Jasmine Crockett. I'm going to play just a second of it.
The trans kids that want to play the sports. Lord have mercy, that is the biggest issue that we had. Since when? Since when?
Jasmine Crockett puts on a fake accent when you catch her talking ghetto. She's a total fraud.
You know, Chris Arps, I'm going to miss Jasmine Crockett, I think, a little bit. How about you?
You know the ironic thing about Jasmine Crockett, I don't know if you knew this, Rob,
What?
but she's actually from St.
I
Louis.
know. She's a Deb from St. Louis. She's a Deb, a private school Deb from St. Louis.
Exactly. She went to a very private school
I
here
know.
called MICDS.
Yeah.
Costs about $20,000 a year to attend there, and she's a ghetto queen now.
Well, you know, St. Louis, do they still do debutante balls in St. Louis? It's kind of a big deal in St. Louis still. And she is
not as much.
Not as much.
Not
All right.
as much.
She's a Deb from St. Louis, man. Oh my God. I know. I'm like, and then all of a sudden she gets all girlfriend. You know, I mean, I don't go in front of different audiences. White audiences go, all of a sudden, I'm Rob Carson. How you all doing out there? Geek, geek. You know, it's kind of stupid. It's kind of stupid, man.
Well, and also it's insulting to African American voters because she feels that she's got to talk down to them and talk, you know, ghetto or ebonics in order to relate to them. You know, black people have the same interests and desires that all people have. You want to educate your children, you want to make sure you have a good job, and you want to make sure you got plenty of money left over retirement. That spreads across all demographics. You don't have to talk down to people to relate to them.
It's just so bloody insulting in the year 2026. And they do this, they bring this back. It's like, what a freaking insult this is. Let me ask you this. Because the Democrat Party, like for instance, the No Kings protest, I figured it out this weekend. You know what it was about? Nothing. It was like Seinfeld. It was about nothing. All right? And the Democrat Party is about nothing but hating Donald Trump. But, you know, you got people like, I think I saw it was... I think it was Megyn Kelly freaking out. Donald Trump's poll numbers are going down. Oh my God, they're going to die. Really? How about just calm the hell down? We're in the middle of the greatest military victory that the country has ever seen, an overwhelming show of force killing the 47-year terrorist state. And we've already got people like Megyn Kelly throwing their hands up like the sky is falling. How do you feel about the Democrat Party going into the midterms here?
Well, you know, historically, when the president is in power, his party doesn't do well. So that's some headwinds that we are facing.
Yep.
But I think that if we can get this war wrapped up quickly, if we can eliminate Iran as a threat to the Middle East and to the world, then I believe that the stock market's going to rise again. I believe gas prices are going to fall. We saw that yesterday when the president announced that the president of Iran wanted to negotiate. The stock market went up 1,000 points. Last week when the president talked about possibly a ceasefire or an ending to the hostilities, the oil market dropped below $100. So I think the fundamentals of the economy are strong, but whenever you have a lot of things where we don't know what's going on, the stock market reacts to that. But I think the underlying fundamentals of the economy is strong going into the midterms.
No, I think so too.
You know, people vote their pocketbooks more than anything. You know, James Carville said famously back in 1992, it's the economy, stupid.
Well, 100%. And also, and I was positive this question at the end of last year, we've got to figure out how to get the news across in a vacuum of any good news coming out of the media. And they've really reached a new low when on day one of this military campaign, Chris Murphy said it was a disaster. Right as we vaporized the Ayatollah, now we've got the Democrat Party saying we're losing or we're in a quagmire, which is absurd on the face of it. So we're going to have to figure out a way to get the momentum going. It's our 250th year, for God's sake. We've got MMA fighting coming on July the 4th. By the way, if you make it in, you got a place to stay. I got a loft.
Okay, I'll take you up on that.
You got the Grand Prix race coming. They got a Grand Prix race in downtown D.C. coming. You got the 250th year. We got both U.S. hockey teams winning gold medals. We got a lot of positives here. We need to overwhelm the left with joy of patriotism and let Donald Trump handle the ass kicking. What do you think about that?
I think that's the way to go. And, the president tonight is going to speak to the nation on the Iran war. I think that's something that he needs to do. A lot of people are suggesting that maybe he's trying to prepare the nation for possibly putting ground troops in there. I don't think that's what it is.
Neither do I.
I think the president is about to do something very significant. He's trying to prepare the nation for it. And as I said, we can get this war over and, eliminate Iran as a threat to the region and to the world. I think it's going to be morning in America again.
Yeah, come on. That's what I think. Chris Harps, man, it's been a joy talking to you today, man. Where can people find you?
My friend.
Yeah, where can people find you on the social media and whatnot, and your show?
I'm on Facebook, Christopher Arps, and I have a webpage, ChristopherArps.com.
All right, man. Have a glorious weekend, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks.
You bet. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All right. How's that, Brian? Valentina, what's going on? Can I ask you a favor? Say a prayer for me today, if you wouldn't mind. I'm going into a doctor's appointment today, and I've always been very healthy. I still am very healthy. And a little whatever, a little blip. I'm going to get it checked out. I'm optimistic, positive. It's nothing terrifying or anything, but just say a prayer if you wouldn't mind, because I'm a little nervous. I was a little nervous about something, but it's. I know I'm going to be fine. But if you wouldn't mind, I'll just ask you for a prayer. I normally don't do that, but anyway. Got a doctor's appointment at 3:45. I know it's probably about nothing, but you never know. I always get nervous. I'm healthy and everything, super healthy. Don't drink, none of that stuff. Obviously, I'm very hot physically. Ladies love me, so there's that. So if you don't mind, I'll just be honest. It's a little spike in the PSA test. That's all I'm going to tell you. I've never had that happen before, so I want to make sure that everything's cool. You guys are probably saying, "Oh, Rob, that's really no big deal," but I'm a little bit nervous about it. I don't want to be too personal. I didn't want to say it to the broadcast audience, you streamers, if you wouldn't mind. That's all. All right, Grandma, you're cleaning your fridge and listening. Jack Reed, consider it done. My prayers for you, Rob. Tom K, thank you. Dookie Bear, have great hair too, Rob. Prayers to you, Round a Pony. Thank you, Wild Bill West. Thank you. I just get nervous. Here we go. All right, so Donald Trump's doing this ballroom over here, and he's got private money in on it, right? And this judge in Washington, D.C. has said he's got to stop it. It's absolutely, utterly ridiculous to say that he can't build the ballroom. It's going to get shot down immediately. And one of the reasons being is that the Democrat, I should say, our leaders have been able to do this for years, and we're not spending any public money on it. So it's nonsense that this is being challenged. It's just we've got a lot of people in our country right now who are trying to see block every damned thing that Donald Trump does. Same goes with the library, the Trump library. Everybody's whining and b-wording about Donald Trump possibly building a library. Here is what Whoopi Goldberg said about the new Trump library, which is just in the drawing stages.
Look, there's so much crazy stuff going on. I mean, the fact that, did you see the rendition of the
Yes.
of the library
Yes.
that he's building?
Yes.
It's a giant, it looks like a giant penis.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, honestly, everything that is in that shape looks like a penis. If you're really going to think about it, I mean, honestly, later today at 6:24, NASA's going to be, launching a giant penis into space. Oh, look, I'm writing with a penis right here. Look, oh my God, I've got an ink penis right here. Honestly, is that what you got? Is that what you got? Anything that has, length and girth is suddenly a penis? My God, woman, get your head out of the gutter. I mean, honestly, absolutely, utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. Here is the one of Trump's legal scholars. Her name's Pastor, talking about the ballroom.
Will appeal that, but it's not. I don't know. It's basically. I mean, I wrote a part of his opinion, but basically he's saying I need congressional approval, and he's so wrong.
Yeah.
This is being financed privately. It's
At least it's not shaped like a penis.
Donation that's being given by companies.
Penis, ballroom.
Very rich companies, very rich people.
The decision's just entirely wrong, and this won't be the ultimate say on the matter. But I will say this, Laura. I give West Wing tours, and as soon as I walk in, the one fact that I know is that the West Wing building used to be a garden. And I think it was President Roosevelt that had it as a garden and then said, no, I think we need some offices in this space. So presidents have been redoing the West Wing and their offices throughout history. And if anybody has...
And they've been begging for a ballroom for decades.
Gone and done a West Wing tour before this decision, perhaps the judge should have done a West Wing tour. He would know that President Trump is one of many presidents who has done this. So it's just historically inaccurate that a president would need...
Yeah, it's just, typical C-blocking of Donald Trump's anything he wants to do. And by the way, he's one of the most prestigious builders in the entire world. It's going to make it amazing. So honestly, KMA, Judge. Listen, I'm going to take off here pretty quick. This trip to D.C., October 25th to the 29th, 5 days, 4 nights with me from Cruise and Tour. If you want to get signed up for it, I want you to just go and look at this today. Just go to travelwithrob.net, travelwithrob.net. We're going to be going through the nation's capital. We're going to go to the Capitol Building, Arlington National Cemetery, Lincoln Memorial, Washington Monument, all the war memorials, the National Mall, all the museums. I'm taking time off. I want you to join me. This is serendipitous. This is your time to finally go to Washington, D.C. If you've never been, or if you have, to come again, 250th year of our birth. Travelwithrob.net or 800-383-3131. Travelwithrob.net or 800-383-3131. God bless you, America is founded. Donald Trump is making America again. Our military that's absolutely keel-hauling Iran. And until tomorrow, which is Thursday, do not catch the stupid. I love you guys. See ya.
Hey, Rob, good luck on your appointment.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.